setting up this rally event today. My chair is behind me because I'm going to sit down.
Yeah.
I had a long day yesterday. Myself, along with about 50 other organizers, will this help? Myself and about 50 other organizers yesterday, we put together an white supremacy rally. It was a beautiful thing. This is the first rally that has made it all the way up to the Griffith Observatory. We marched at least about 100 people. We had representation from all communities. And that's really important for me. And also why it was important for me to start BLM South Pasadena and advocate right here in our city. Even though there's not a lot of representation or really any for Black Americans in this particular city, I felt that it was important for us to have a presence here. Because at the end of the day, we all have to gain our own personal understanding of this movement and what's going on and why it's important. It's not just what you see on TV. What you see on TV is not what BLM is about. Full disclosure, I am not with BLM, the organization. I am an independent grassroots organizer that just got up and made a decision to fight and to commit myself to the fight and commit myself to visibility to the issues that we live with on a day-to-day basis. I really don't like public speaking, guys. That's partially why I'm sitting down too, because I need to try to control my breathing. I get a little overwhelmed, so please bear with me as I continue to speak through this. Organizing and standing on the streets all summer long was not easy. We had 100+ days. We had fires. We had assaults. We had so many things happening. And regardless of how peaceful our protest was, it seemed to bring out the worst of so many people. And what I try to share with other organizers is, you don't have to be aggressive. You don't have to be violent, because racism will rear its head regardless. If you're consistent and you hold space, they get tired of you. A lot of people are expecting BLM South Pass to disappear after a couple weeks, after a month, like the rest of the crowds did. We disrupted many people's spirits by being peaceful. Listen to that. We disrupted spirits by being peaceful and for advocating for justice. That's nothing to be proud of. It's nothing to be proud of. But what it did was it allowed other people to see that right here in the city of South Pasadena, we've got issues that we need to work on as well. I don't know how many of you guys are aware, but as I just mentioned, there are multiple assaults that happened during our protest. Not myself personally, but other people that saw things that happened called the police to come and help and to come and do their job on our behalf. But when you have a police department that can't see what we're doing for face value and take it personally, they will not work for you. And I want you guys to understand that. You can support the police, but you should also support the fact that your experience with the police should be the same experience as I have with the police and other Black and brown people have with the police. And we're telling you that's not the case. And that's why we are calling for change, for reform. Some people are calling for abolition, to abolish the police. Why? Because time after time after time, after time after time after time, we are seeing that we're not treated equally within the system. But it's really by design if you really look into the history. And because that history is not frequently taught, people think that these words are just words. Dig into the history. Dig into how we got here. Dig into how this impacts not only the African American community, but the Hispanic community, the API community. I'm learning so much, and I have learned so much over this summer. I didn't graduate from college. I never did really anything great, as far as I'm concerned in my life. And I really never thought that the promise was mine, to be honest. I drove through South Pasadena and Pasadena. I grew up in Pasadena. When I would drive by big houses and see nice things, I never even desired for that. I didn't want that because that never appeared to be anything that was in my reach. And this is what a lot of people experience when they are raised by parents who were raised by parents who were always told to shut up and to be quiet and not push forward the fight for equality. They were silenced because of history. When your grandparents grew up seeing kids being lynched, people being lynched, hanging in trees, how do you teach your offspring to fight? How do you teach them that if you can make your own way, you'll be okay? No, they don't. They teach us to work for other people, to get a job. While other communities are teaching their families the real playbook, how to open businesses, how to do their own thing, how to be self-sufficient. How do you expect kids to grow up and be better than the same implicit bias images that you guys see every single day? Every single day. It impacts us as well. When we look on the news and we see nothing but black and black murders, and we see all this violence, how do you think that affects us as black people? It makes us also believe that's what we are. And if you don't have a family that supports you, to show you that you are greater than what you see, and you don't have role models that look like you, it's hard for you to even desire anything more than what you see. And that's why it's important for everybody, not just black people, to advocate for black people. White people need to advocate for black people. Asian people need to advocate for black people. All people should advocate for black people. Because at the end of the day, what we're asking for, it's not really just for us. It's not for us. It's for everybody. What we're asking for will help everybody. Accountability helps everybody. We've been seeing on the news issues in Palestine. And I'm learning also with this as well. But what is a really common factor here is the propaganda behind it. They talk about how the quote-unquote terrorists are bombing Israel, and we need to support Israel to keep them safe and to take care of their people. Palestine, they don't even have their own military. You guys aware of that? They don't even have their own military. Do you know what Israel's military looks like? Looks like ours. They've got missile defense systems. So those, they're not telling you that those rockets and those missiles or whatever that, these so-called terrorists are shooting out towards Israel, they're being deflected. They're not telling you that. They're giving you guys bits and pieces of the information so you can say, okay, yeah, they need to do this. But if you've got a defense system that's deflecting this, why are we retaliating by destroying buildings and families and homes? Let's be real. They label us as a terrorist as well. Why? Because we're fighting. We are fighting a system that does not want to be changed. So you have to dig into this stuff and understand and realize propaganda when you see it. And a lot of people don't understand it. Because from CNN to Fox News, they're all saying the same thing. They really are. There's kids right here on this grass around us, throughout this park. I've seen kids, after their houses have been demolished, their families have been torn apart, and we're sending these people more money. What touched my heart is to see that in some places, say no more. We're comfortable here. But it will get worse. Understand that it will get worse. I believe that part of this is a way to kind of bait people into believing that, hey, we have to be forceful. We've got departments that have equipment here that could be on the front lines of war. Right here in our cities. Why? What are they preparing for? Nobody really wants to turn up. We don't want to turn up. We don't want to fight. We want to be heard. We want to be listened to. And we want to be supported. My objective for coming here in South Pasadena was really to bring people together, like I mentioned before. We have to advocate for each other. We have to look out for each other. A lot of this has to do with policies and policies that are being created right here in our cities to push people out. I don't know if you guys know, but the city just tried to pass an ordinance that said no signs on the walkways. Specifically mentioned political. Who do you think that's geared to? That's not geared to any one of you guys. This doesn't mean your open house sign or your fight your cat sign. This has to do with silencing the movement that I started over the summer. I need you guys to be paying attention to what's happening in the city council meetings. I'm very grateful for the people that I've met over the summer that have stepped up and advocated for these issues. I applaud Here First and Art and everybody else in between that has sent in letters, who has sent in emails, written op-eds, spoken out about this. We need you guys. Every single person that is here today, we need you. Some of these people I would have never met. None of these people, as a matter of fact, I would have never met. Nobody here really looks like me. But you guys are showing me that there is hope. There is hope and there is support out there. And I just hope that you guys continue to rally around this movement and support this movement and really get to understand this movement. I created the Black Lives Matter Instagram page, the South Pasadena page, so that people can see and be engaged, because you guys don't know but you can't see. So I share a lot of that stuff. I try to keep you guys in the know because you're not connected. Not to what's really happening. So if you guys aren't following, if you have Instagram, Black Lives Matter, South Pasadena, all together. I also want to just briefly speak on the unhoused community work that I'm also doing here in South Pasadena and outside of Pasadena and South Pasadena as well. Again, I never had a playbook. I never knew how to start anything or organize anything, but it just took a little bit of will and not to overthink it. I started helping unhoused people by merely just asking my friends, do you have extra clothes, shoes, whatever that you can't use? This is my immediate network that got this off the ground. So don't think that because you don't have a plan or you don't know where to start, that it's as complicated as you may think it is. I wish I would have known this years ago. I'm an old lady already, guys. I'm not going to tell you my age, but I really am. I'm late to the party. But I'm just glad to have, again, your support here. I'm going to just read one thing before I wrap this up. This is part of a speaking engagement that I had with LA Valley College a couple months ago, Black History Month. So I just wanted to quickly go through this. And I know I touched on this a little bit, but the objective was to open up space in the community for people to come out and peacefully assemble, to create dialogue, and to bring visibility to ongoing police violence, systemic surrounding racism and how it impacts us in various